and welcome to Good Deeds. I'm your host, Keith Erickson, and our guest is Norfolk County Register of Deeds, Bill O'Donnell. Bill, of course, always a pleasure to have you. I think this is our 6th, 7th show maybe, so it's always a pleasure to have you on the set.
Keith, thanks, and thanks to Braintree Community Access for doing this. It's great to be here, and you know, another quarter, and we we'll bore you with some statistics early, and then
I like to give people a little background on you and how you got to be the Register of Deeds, because I think there's only 12 or 13 in the whole history of the Massachusetts here. So give people, let them get to know you a little bit here.
Norfolk County. I'm from Norwood. Braintree is one of the communities in Norfolk County, which was established in 1793. So the Norfolk County Registry of Deeds has been in Dedham. All the land documents get recorded there, and I'm the 11th Register of Deeds in Norfolk County, yep. and we're, as I said, the county goes back to 1793, as does the land records, including Braintree's.
And you've been there a little while now, right?
Since 2002, so it's been great. We have a nice staff. And a lot of things have been done. I think what we've done, we inherited a lot of paperwork. In fact, there was a year's worth of mail with checks in them when we first got there. But we've tried to streamline it, modernize the operation. And one of the things, and again, thanks to you and thanks to Braintree Cable, one of the things we've tried to do is do outreach and bring the records of the registry into people's homes and businesses, and more importantly, bring the issues out there, like homestead protection. We come to the office hours. We come to here in Braintree, Braintree Town Hall. People come in looking for a copy of their deed, maybe checking to see if their loans have been paid off. They know they've been paid off, but maybe that the mortgage discharge, which tells the world that it's been paid off, is recorded there. So we've really, tried to take an old arm of government and make it relevant to the day-to-day things that happen. And I think people are more interested in real estate because, let's face it, it's the biggest asset most of us have.
Right. Hey, I know we're going to get to this a little later, but Notable Land Records Volume 2, this has been a pet project of yours. I know you're a big history buff and throughout this thing, and mine is actually autographed by Bill right there. So I'm very excited. I'm going to read this on the team.
I got to do something for all your hosting.
Right. And so, but we'll get to that in a minute, but that's some good stuff. And there is so much history here, not only in Braintree, but in the surrounding communities that you really delve into.
There's great history, and Norfolk County is known as the county of presidents because 4 presidents were born here, and I don't think too many counties across America can say 4 presidents were born within their jurisdiction. So a lot of history and a lot of statistics too here.
All right, well, let's get into some of these statistics. All right, so we got the quarter coming, from July to the end of September. Now we got the from January 1 to the end of September. So we got some numbers. Are people still buying houses based on what you're seeing, and people registering their deeds down at the register? You talk to us a little bit about
it's
what
kind
you're
of a mix. What I see is a mixed bag. What we did is look at the statistics, because here we are, in November. So we looked at statistics from July 1st, to September 30th. That's the third quarter. Right. But we also looked at it from January 1st to October 31st, the 10 months. And what was interesting is the document volume. That's the number of documents that get recorded, was up in Norfolk County. But in some respects down slightly in Braintree. For instance, the documents recorded in 2018 were 119,353 countywide over the 10-month period, and it went up to 121,000, which again is up 2%, whereas it was down slightly for the 10-month period. Sure. The good news is for that third quarter, both in, again, reflective of a similar situation. It was up over the quarter, up 8% countywide, but down 2%. So when you look at it, you say, okay, the document volume's down. That could be a few things. But I thought it was almost the opposite in sale price, which I think is the more interesting number for people that are buying or selling their home, that in Norfolk County, the sale price was down, and again, it's skewed a little because we combine commercial and residential. But when you looked at it countywide over that 10-month period, January 1st to October 31st, prices were up and up significantly. In Braintree they were up 6%, so that was significant. Countywide they were down 6%. But again, for the quarter, again, there was robust activity that third quarter. It was up countywide 13%, and again, up 6%, interestingly.
When you're talking documents filed at the register, what are you talking about? You're talking
That's all documents. So there's deeds, there's mortgages. The Conservation Commission could say, hey, record this order of conditions. When you pay off your loan, the bank, or sometimes the bank sends you a mortgage discharge. These are the documents that get recorded.
Okay.
So that's kind of indicative of volume. But the sale price, that's what people are interested in.
Sure.
And what I thought was interesting, the Warren Group, which helps monitor some of the statistics as well. It's a business publication. In Norfolk County, the average medium home price from January 1st, 2019 to September 30th, 2019 was $529,900, which was up 3.9% over 2018. So it does tell me that in Norfolk County, people are still interested in buying in Norfolk County, but the fact that prices are up in Braintree shows there's pockets of towns like Braintree that people want to live here, and there's less inventory and more of a demand to
Right,
live
that's what I was going to say. Is the lack of inventory, is that spurring anything that you see on the business sector kind of thing? Like people are starting to build more or anything like that? Can you address that a little bit?
Well, maybe some of the buildings seem to be more the condominiums, because
Sure.
we see there's been an uptick in condominium, condominiums being sold, but more importantly, condominium prices have gone up because, again, there's probably more demand for those condominiums. There's demand for housing, and that's an issue. And the other statistic that shows that either people are using the money to buy houses, or my theory is they're also using money to renovate houses, is mortgages. As far as total mortgages, countywide over that 10-month period, 20,686 in 2018, 23,809 in 2019. That's up 15%. And in Braintree, over that January 1st to October 31st period, it's 1,128 mortgages or borrowings in 2018, and it's 1,252 in 2019, which is up 11%. And the same thing happened over the quarter. Mortgages recorded in Norfolk County were up 33%. And up 24%, again, that July 1st to September 30th overlap. So it was a very busy third quarter. And why were the mortgages up? Well, the mortgages rates went down. The Federal Reserve, we are a local economy, but we are tied into what goes on nationally. And it was kind of interesting. I was listening to WBZ News, and they indicated in 2019, the average age for trading up is 55.
Wow.
Back in 1981, it was 36. So that's telling me more people are staying within their home. And more people are taking out these mortgages, not to buy a house necessarily. They, for whatever reason, maybe they don't want to take on a bigger debt. They don't, you could sell your house high, but you have to buy somewhere high.
Right, sure. Where are you going to go?
And I think people are staying in their homes and borrowing money and renovating and improving their homes. The other thing that we look at, and I always urge people, if you are struggling with foreclosure, the Registry of Deeds has partnered up with Quincy Community Action Program, which is in the neighboring town of Braintree. They cover all 28 communities. And NeighborWorks Housing Solutions also covers all 28 communities, including Braintree. They give advice to people that are struggling with foreclosure. They give counseling. They have educational programs that try to help people look at how they manage their money. And we also have links on our website at the registry at www.norfolkdeeds.org to the Attorney General's office that has some resources available to help. But
are you encouraged by the number of foreclosures not being filed? I mean, it's going down, it seems.
Yes, because part of my tenure, it goes back to 2002, that was very busy, but then in 2007, 2008, in fact, one of the things, we started tracking foreclosures. They just listed it as a notice with other notices. I said, no, this is a big problem. Let's separate it out, and that allows us to give statistics. And the good news is the foreclosure deeds, which is at the end of the process, in 2018, over that 10-month period for the county, was 193. It's 118 in 2019. So again, that's down significantly, 39%. And in Braintree, it went from 10 foreclosure deeds in all of 2018 to only 3. Right. And that's the end of the process. The good news is the notices to foreclose, which is the beginning of the process of a foreclosure, when notices get filed, it was 365 countywide, and that's down from 539, which is down 32%, and it was down in Braintree, from 27 to 17. And that also was reflective in the quarterly ones as well. So that's some good news that there's activity, and we certainly at the registry, we see it. Sometimes you see people coming in that just don't know where to go. That's why we try to give them some help. So if you do get a notice to foreclose, or maybe you're struggling, you haven't paid the mortgage a couple of times and the bank's still working with you, you might want to reach out to these nonprofit groups to get help when you're in that situation, so it doesn't start the foreclosure process.
Real quick, give those 2 organizations again that you just mentioned a couple minutes ago. This is really important.
Oh yeah, it's Quincy Community Action Program. They're in Quincy, and NeighborWorks Housing Solutions. They have offices in Braintree and Quincy, but they also, as I said, both organizations that we partnered up with have committed to helping all 28 communities, and Braintree is so close. So reach out and get the help if you need the help. Okay,
great. Any other numbers you want to throw out at us in that crystal ball, that little NFL coaching sheet you got in front of you there?
It's like when I coach hockey. Right, exactly. How I coach hockey.
All right, what lines am I going to put out where?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
But not as complicated as football. And we wish all the teams well. Thanksgiving will be coming up. No, as far as statistics, I just think Norfolk County is showing some robust statistics. Maybe not as busy as it was in 2002 and 2004, but there's demand. There's demand, and there's lack of inventory.
Hey, we're here with Bill O'Donnell. Actually, he is the Register of Deeds down there in Dedham. Give some people some public information. They want to come in. They want to talk to you. They want to talk to some of your staff. They can do that, right? They can come in 9 to 5.
They could come in. Actually, the building's open earlier than that. Come on in. We record 9 to 4, but we're there from 8 to 5, and they can come to 649 High Street. If you need a copy of your deed, we have a customer service center, which is set up there so people can walk in. They don't have to sit in a line to record documents. They just go to the customer service center, and if they need to look up their deed, if they need to have their mortgages checked, they can do that. And that's what we do. We actually take the registry on the road when we go to Braintree Town Hall or any of the town halls, or we go out to community organizations. We bring the computers with us, and that's what we do. Some people want a copy of their deed. They can't remember if they had a homestead recorded, so we give them a copy if they have a copy. And a homestead, for the viewing public, is something people should consider. It protects your home against the forced sale. The filing fee is, the fees are going up December 31st. The state legislature voted the fees up with the governor to help the Community Preservation Act. But the one fee they didn't increase was the Homestead Act, so it's relatively modest. So I would suggest if you haven't recorded a homestead to protect your home, do that.
Now, some of the nominal fees that, like, say if I wanted to get a copy of my house register of deeds, how much is that going to cost me?
Well, typically it's $1 a page. When we go as part of our public service and having, for instance, the Braintree town officials, the mayor, the city council, town council allows us to use the town hall. We just do it for free. We make copies and give them copies and certify it right there. That's one thing. There's still scam groups out there. We have a group that sends letters to people for $60 or $86 that they will get you a certified copy of your deed. Don't pay that money. Come to the registry, either come to 649 High Street in Dedham, or check our website when we're out and about the county, and including here in Braintree, and come and get a copy of your deed, and we'll certify it to you for nothing.
Awesome. Tell the people who probably aren't too tech savvy the phone number that they can reach you at.
Yes, the customer service line is 781 461-6101.
Okay.
And our line is 781-461-6116. That comes to me. And if you want to email me directly, it's registerodonnell@norfolkdeeds.org.
A couple of house cleaning things that we usually talk about on this show, electronic recording and mortgage discharges. Explain to those watching what those are all about.
Electronic recording is probably more for the practitioners, the lawyers, the title examiners, the engineers that may use the registry. We've set it up where people can now transmit documents over the internet. It wasn't even envisioned when I first became Register of Deeds. It just shows you how technology has changed businesses, not only in the private sector, but business operations in the public sector.
Yeah.
So a lawyer in Braintree can do the closing here, transmit it, and we can see it growing. We're close to 50% of our document volume on the registry or recorded land side comes through electronic recording, even though we still like you to come to 649 High Street. I enjoy meeting people. We are still doing a pilot program. Norfolk County was selected on the land court side, which is 20% of Norfolk County is land court land. And those numbers are growing. We're approaching 35% of document volume that comes through electronically. And they do it because it's efficient. People like to be in their office. If there's a problem with the closing, they can correct things and then transmit the documents. But we still make space available at the registry for people to come in, and people do that as well. They come in. We have space where the parties, the buyers, the sellers, the attorneys all get together and then come upstairs and do the recording instantaneously.
Donuts too? You give out donuts? No donuts? All right.
There are vending machines. Donuts, bad for you.
Yeah, all right.
Don't tell Dunkin' Donuts that. I couldn't say
All right,
that.
so another thing actually that I learned over the last few years talking to you, Bill, is the Homestead Act. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, the homestead, and it ties to the other question you asked, was the mortgage discharges.
Sure.
Both are consumer issues. Mortgage discharges, make sure, we all pay off our loans. Sometimes I have 3 kids, I'm still paying off the tuitions. But once you pay off that loan or you close your equity line, make sure the bank either records the discharge or, just follow up with them. And sometimes we see people getting the discharges directly from the bank and making sure they're recorded, because that tells the world that mortgage has been paid off. So when you go to sell your house or you go to refinance, you don't have a title issue. And the homestead is another kind of consumer issue, much like the mortgage discharges, where, it's allowed, the state legislature has put laws into place. And it's a Consumer Protection Act. I think you talked to, I'm an attorney by training. I practice law. I was in the district attorney's office as well. 9.9 out of 10 attorneys would probably say record a homestead, which protects your home against a forced sale. Means, hey, you still have to pay your mortgage, you still have to pay your taxes. But if you get yourself in certain situations, maybe you got into a bad car accident or something, they're still going to chase you for money, but it protects the home against a forced sale. It keeps you in the home.
That's great. And did you mention that some fees are going up for that?
Well, in December 31st of this year,
2019.
yes, the legislature voted an increase in fees, mainly to fund the Consumer Preservation Act, which is an act where communities opt in and they can use the monies to leverage in various ways, whether it's open space, housing, historical preservation. But yes, the fees are going up, so don't blame the register. No.
Yeah, right, exactly.
But they're going up, and we collect them,
and
we have to turn them over to the Department of Revenue, which allocates it to the community preservation, components and things like that.
And explain to some of the people over 62 or some of the elderly people watching today how the Homestead Act may affect them, or some benefits that they want to look into, because probably a lot of people watching this show are probably maybe over 62.
Yeah, well, the homestead benefits everyone, whether you're 18 and you're fortunate enough to own a home. It applies to your principal residence, and the legislature defines elderly as 62 and above. So if you're 62 and above, just say both you and your spouse are over 62, you both can put a homestead on, and you both can get, it kind of stacks $500,000 worth of protection, But the main thing is, whether you're 18 or 62 or 82, if you own a piece of property and it's your principal residence, you've been given the option to get a homestead. You may as well take advantage of that option, because it's there to protect your biggest asset, your home.
Okay. Let's see here. Consumer notifications. currently there are 1,091 Norfolk County homeowners who have signed up for this program. So this is starting to grow a little bit.
It is, and we see it in Braintree, and we thank the people in Braintree that have signed up. What the Consumer Notification Service is, and I've signed up myself, we've seen a lot of scams, and a lot of things are taking place around the country, in Philadelphia, California, where, in fact, the FBI says the fastest growing white-collar crime is property fraud and mortgage fraud. What the Consumer Notification Service does is this: you sign up. If my name's William O'Donnell, I get an email when a William O'Donnell document gets recorded at the registry. Now I'm William P. O'Donnell. It may not be me. I check it out. Oh, it's William J. O'Donnell, William T. O'Donnell. There might be a time where it's William O'Donnell, and I check it out and I go, wait a minute, that's the deed to my house, or wait a minute, that's a mortgage on my house. I didn't sign that. Now, if you're not good on the computer, you can call our customer service center if you've signed up, and they can walk you through, and we have links to the law enforcement agencies if this happens. Now, we haven't prevented the fraud, but how many people check their titles or documents? No one does. So you can get on it right away. So there are frauds taking place. I haven't seen it in Norfolk County, but you see it out there, and we were the first registry to put a consumer notification service together, and we just think it's a good community, a good way to protect the folks in the community.
And it's free, and Bill says go to norfolkdeeds.org, click on the Consumer Notification Services, get Consumer Alerts button to complete the register, and according to my notes, it only takes a couple minutes.
Right, and if there's any questions, you can call our IT department. But I just think it's a lot of people, some people would say, oh, emails, and we always get too many emails, but think about it. Again, back my theme, the biggest asset I have, it's a small inconvenience to get that email. And if it doesn't involve me, I just delete it. If it involves me, if that's my deed or that's my mortgage, I got problems, and then I'll be thrilled I got the notification, because I haven't prevented the problem, but now I can get on it right away between the law enforcement and maybe get proactive with my own attorney to make sure that my property is protected.
Switching directions, this is going to put a smile on your face. October 2nd, 2019, what happened?
Well, we had our dedication, and what's happening is, over time, the registry building is great. It's been there in Dedham since 1903. It was opened in 1903. Great history. In fact, the county bought it back then for $17,000. So, there's all kinds of history in the records.
That house?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it was a house, and the county flipped it into a beautiful building. But in over time, since I've been registered, we've done projects on the building, culminating in the last building renovation and restoration project, which started in 2018 and finished in 2019. And if you ever get a chance, come by 649 High Street. It's an old building, but we try to make it functional. We've helped increase research space, and we've beautified it. In fact, we did such a good job of beautifying it. In August, there was a movie from a Hollywood film there called I Care a Lot. Peter Dinklage, who is in the Game of Thrones, Rosamund Pike, who was she was in a Jack Reacher, Tom Cruise movie.
Tell me you got a cameo. Come on.
I did. I was a clerk in the background.
Were
ironically,
you really?
I was.
That's awesome.
Ironically, I'm sure I'm going to be on the cutting floor, but maybe that'll be my next career. Yeah, right.
Awesome.
But anyway, it was actually fun having Hollywood come between the cameras and the video. It really was something. And the other young star was Isa Gonzalez, who was in one of the Fast and the Furious, and she's in Baby Driver, another movie. Rosamund Pike had she was the wife of Ben Affleck in that Gone Girl movie. So these are actresses. It was pretty interesting. The movie is called I Care a Lot. They told me they were thinking of changing the names depending on, if a new name might come up. But it was pretty interesting to have Hollywood come to Dedham. And one of the reasons, we had just finished the renovation project, and someone came through, and they go, hey, can we bring a crew in a week from now to just check this out? And they must have been 60 people with the scripts and everything. And they said, hey, we'd like to use the bill. It looks nice. And they made it like a city hall. And so it was recorded in August. So again, we didn't do it to have Hollywood come, but I think it's a testimony to the great work the builders and the staff and the architect did in really preserving the history there. And we had a dedication in October, and I'm great for deadlines. We had a 225th anniversary last year, and we did a book on history. And I love history, so we did. We had such a great response to Volume 1. We have Volume 2, and for Braintree this time, we picked Thomas Watson. He's the inventor, of course, but he also was the founder of the Four River Shipyard. And so some great history. In fact, next to him is in Brookline, we picked Arthur Fiedler.
Right.
And some great names. Allie Raisman actually grew up in Needham. So there's just a lot of history here. There was another astronaut. It was funny. Last time we picked Needham, I ran into, when I still try to run at the Falmouth Road Race, I ran into an astronaut from Needham. So we picked her the first book, and then I'm doing research. And in Randolph, this Scott Tingle grew up, went to Blue Hills, as a matter of fact, grew up and is an astronaut. So a lot of good history, and so we did another Volume 2, and
that's
it was
amazing.
a lot of fun.
That's amazing. And now the third phase is also, the project's underway too, right? I mean, you're not stopping here at number 2. You're going right into number 3.
Yeah. Well,
that's awesome.
I enjoy it. Yeah, and that's for the veterans. We've solicited. We've sent out and try to tie in a registry record to a veteran as a story, and so we're doing some research, and again, the history has come alive at the registry, and it goes back to 1793. So a lot of information and a lot of interesting people have lived and worked at the registry in Norfolk County.
With the end of we only have a couple minutes left here, Bill. But I know you guys are involved in the community a lot down there, and with the end of the year, you got a lot of people wanting to do a lot of good things. Yes,
and this is probably, out of the whole thing for this show, this is probably to me the most important. I would thank the U.S. Marines for their service, but we partnered up. This is our 14th year with the United States Marine Corps and the Toys for Tots program. We're a drop-off site, and it's beginning, through November through December 21st. You can drop off toys to 649 High Street. And it's a great and worthy cause, and the staff is supportive. The people that come by, the jurors every day that go to the second floor. So whoever comes by the registry, it's a drop-off site. Please consider it. Help those in need. And also, we do an annual food drive. We start before Thanksgiving. We're in it now. It goes again through the end of December. And you can come by the registry to drop off items, whether they're canned spaghettis. More importantly, you can go to our website. We have the list of all the food pantries in the county, including here in Braintree.
That's a great idea.
Go directly.
Great idea.
Go directly to them.
Right.
We're in the holiday season. It's approaching. There's a lot to be thankful for with Thanksgiving and the seasons, Christmas and Hanukkah and all the other holidays. But let's think of those that are less fortunate than us.
I ran out of all my notes. You blew through them. You do a great job, Billy.
Well, thanks. Keith, thanks. It's always great. And again, thanks to Braintree Cable, and thanks to those that view the show. We appreciate it.
That's awesome. Hey, we were just talking to Bill O'Donnell, and you've been watching Good Deeds. Until next time, I'm your host, Keith Erickson.